Today on Natural Bushcraft we're going to be taking a quick look at what a fire steel is and how we use one. A fire steel is a man-made rod consisting of a composite of different metals. When you strike this rod at speed, it shaves off tiny pieces of metal and because of the friction will ignite and burn at around 1600 degrees C. Most fire steels often come with a striker attached. Sometimes these will have a serrated edge, or other times they will just have a flat edge. Fire steels come in a range of different sizes, with large ones offering around 12,000 strikes before they wear out. So let's see how we use a fire steel. You can use your knife to strike the fire steel, but do not use the cutting edge of your knife because this will blunt your blade. Use the spine of your knife, and if it has a good flat edge it will strike the fire steel well. You can ignite a huge number of different tinders using sparks from a fire steel. Both natural and man-made tinders work well. You can see here we've got dried grass, charcloth, cotton wool, and we've got some fluff from the bulrush, which is the spores from this reed. If it's your first go at using a fire steel, I'd recommend trying cotton wool first. It's a good and easy starter. So let's just quickly go back and take a closer look at the technique we use when striking a fire steel. If you take note of the angle of which I'm holding the striker against the fire steel, we maintain this angle and pull the rod backwards, and we get sparks out. There are actually numerous different ways that you can strike a fire steel. If you were after directing a shower of sparks, say for example if you were lighting a meth stove, you might want to push the striker forward, keeping the rod still. So this would let us shower something with sparks in a certain direction, whilst we can sort of keep our hands at a bit of a distance for when the meth ignites. Now the same technique might not be very good for if you were working with a tinder bundle, because if you were moving your hands forward you've got a tendency to knock your tinder bundle. So for this, if we want a controlled shower of sparks in one area, we would typically keep the striker still as we mentioned before and pull the rod itself backwards. Just like that. Another technique for striking the fire steel, if you've got a hard surface to strike down on and you're using a tinder perhaps say like charcloth, you can actually hold the charcloth in position by placing the fire steel down onto the charcloth, holding it there, and then using the method, same angle but striking down onto the charcloth. Another trick you can use if you were for some reason struggling to light your tinder is to make some shavings of the fire steel onto your tinder. So if I put the rod onto the charcloth and I very slowly scrape the striker down the rod, I'm not aiming to ignite the shavings at this stage, I'm just trying to get some shavings off the rod so that hopefully you can see some metal shavings there on the charcloth. Now when we strike down faster with more friction, this will ignite the shavings and increase our chances of catching the tinder alight. You can see it there just still sparking away. If you'd like more ideas on the kind of things that you can light with a fire steel, watch one of our older videos that I think was called A Dozen Different Tinders. It was just a fun video we made a few years ago now, seeing what things we had in our rucksack that we could catch alight with our fire steel, so that should give you a few more ideas. The quality of fire steels can vary. If you always go for the cheapest thing you can find, the actual composition of the metals can be inconsistent and not give off as good a shower of sparks as some fire steels. So one brand I am able to recommend to you is a company called Light My Fire. I've no connection with the company, but I have been using their products for many years now, and I'm really happy with the performance of their fire steels. It's nice and consistent and gives off a good shower of sparks. So overall, I think a fire steel is a very important tool to learn and master, because once you know how to use them, they're a very versatile and robust tool. They're less likely to break than a normal lighter. I often carry a fire steel around with me as my primary means of lighting things. Bigger isn't always better as well. For a couple of years I always carried these big fire steels around with me. I always bought the biggest one. It'll do you for like 12,000 or 15,000 strikes. But now I carry the Light My Fire mini fire steel. This small orange one, I prefer it. I think it's about 1,500 strikes that it's predicted that it will give you. But just the fact it's smaller, you don't notice it at all. You can clip it on key rings or on your belt and you really do not notice it, whereas the other larger ones, you will notice that jangling about on your belt or on your keys. So go out and learn how to use a fire steel. But lastly, bear in mind, if this is the first time that you're going out and lighting a fire, please watch our other videos on how to start a fire safely, and it'll also show you how to clean it away afterwards. So have fun and stay safe.